My name is Seth Goellner, and the book I had was Teaching in the Flat World, Learning from High-Performing Systems. It was by Linda Hammond. This wasn't really a story or anything. It's more like a miniature textbook. It had a lot of statistics in it, and she was comparing the United States education system to 3 other education systems, which were Ontario, Canada, Singapore, and Finland. All right, a little about her. She graduated from Yale with a bachelor's in 1973. She got her doctorate degree from Temple in 1978. She is currently a professor at Stanford University, but she started out as a public school teacher. And then she co-founded a preschool and daycare center and also a public high school. The public high school is East Palo Alto Academy. And when I started reading about this, it's really interesting. It's a public charter school, and they accept students by lottery. That's how they get in. And it's supported by Stanford, the university. But the students in this region, about only a third of these students were graduating from high school, and almost none were going to college. So it's really bad. But after she co-founded this high school, about 90% of the students that went there were graduating and going to college. So it made a huge impact in the area, and they ended up opening up 7 other charter schools in the area. All right, her contributions. She has published or been published like with articles in over 400 books, and she specializes in improving education systems and policies. She has a big hand in that. In 1994-2001, she was the executive director of the National Commission on Teaching in America's Future. In 2006, she was named one of the top 10 most influential people in affecting educational policy. So she spends a lot of time on that and trying to improve the United States education policies. In 2008, she was named the leader of President Obama's education policy transition team. So when I was reading her book, she had a few quotes in there that really stuck out to me. One, because she either put them in there a few times or they meant a lot when I read them. And one of them was strengthening the educator workforce and ensuring that all students have access to teachers who are capable and caring is the most powerful way to improve student learning. So 2 words that stuck out there were capable and caring. And especially when I heard Kyle's presentation, he said the teacher was teaching to the board. He wasn't engaged in the students. To me, that sounded like he might have been capable to teach math and knew what he was doing, but he wasn't caring. He just wanted to get up there, teach to his test, and move on. He didn't care whether the students understood the material, whether they had questions. He just got up there and gave a lesson and moved on with it. Another quote. I know she put this one in there probably 4 or 5 times. Teaching is one of the most important school-related factors in student achievement. So that might sound like an obvious statement, but when you think about it, it's you are their role model when they walk into the classroom. 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, you're there around teachers, and how you act, how you teach, is how they're going to learn and how they'll act outside of school. And then improving teachers' capacities to teach all students well can raise student achievement levels. And words that stuck out there were all students well, so you have to be able to teach them well to all students, whether they're audible learners, hands-on, reading. And she used student achievement a lot in this book, student achievement. So it's not just how they achieve the information, how they learn the information, how they do on tests, but it's how they act outside of school. So how you act in front of them, how you teach, and how you treat them is how they're going to act outside of school and how they'll act for the rest of their lives in the communities, in the workforce. All right, so one of the big things she preached on was continued learning. So when you get out of school, out of college, and you get a job, that should not be the end of your education career. Even as a teacher, you need to be going to workshops. You need to be learning from other people how they constructed their classrooms, how they got it to work, how they taught to different types of learners. And so when she was comparing these three education systems, in Singapore, the government pays for 100 hours of professional development each year for all teachers. So the government's real invested in the teachers and how they improve themselves so they can have a better education field, which in turn makes the country a better place. In Finland, all high school teachers must have a master's. So they're well educated, and 80% of teachers in Finland had willingly participated in some type of a professional development. So not only they weren't forced to, but they were willing to improve themselves. And then the reason I touched on the all teachers from Finland must have a master's is because that's the only way you can be certified to teach in Finland. In America, they have different programs which are kind of, you can bypass college to become a teacher, like Teach for America, which, I mean, it's great if you need teachers, but in the book she points out that recruits that come from Teach for America, recruits are less effective than certified beginners, especially at elementary level in teaching of reading. So they're less effective in teaching of reading, which is one of the most important parts of school. You have to know how to read to do anything. So that was a big part of it. Another thing she was big on was mentorship. When you get into your education career, you need to find a teacher that's been there, a veteran that's been there, and you need to learn from them. Learn what the area is like, learn what the students are like, and that'll really carry a long way for your teaching career, especially starting out. And then another thing was evaluations. She called one thing drive-by evaluations. So this is when the principal will walk from room to room, stop in, stay for 5 or 10 minutes, and leave, and evaluate the teacher. These aren't very effective, especially, I don't know about y'all, but in my high school, this was how the principals evaluated teachers. So the teacher would know when the principal was coming in. They would say, okay, principal's coming in at this time, you need to act good, pay attention to me until he leaves. And that's just not, I don't think that you're being evaluated correctly. You should be surprised, and you should be able to plan for an evaluation. And also, since I would like to be in administration one day, she talked about how principals are evaluated in Ontario, and I really liked it. They have 5-year appraisals. So they're in front of a board, they say, in the next 5 years, I want to do this. And the board will tell them, that's not challenging enough, you need to challenge your school more. So they have to set challenging yet obtainable goals. They have to present the strategy of how they're going to obtain those goals. And so that kind of puts some pressure on the principal. And on top of that, if they're not completed, they're either promoted, or not promoted, demoted from principal, they're transferred to another school, or they're terminated as principals. And then incorporating this into the classroom, one thing I kind of thought about was self-evaluation. So for one, I want to evaluate I want my students to evaluate themselves, give them an evaluation, tell me what kind of learner you think you are, because nobody knows them better than they know themselves. So tell me what kind of learner you are, and then maybe give them a test. I'm a social studies concentration, so tell me, give them a test on how much history they know so far, and then maybe give yourself a mid-year evaluation from your students, and they can tell you, you need to do this better, or we didn't comprehend this quite that much, and you kind of retouch on it. Continue self-improvement, so just continue to go to workshops and improve myself as a teacher and never stop learning. And then maximize teacher effectiveness, so just make sure that I'm a capable and caring teacher, and that I'm teaching to all students, and that all students are getting the information that I'm presenting them. Here's some statistics from the book that were kind of shocking. At least 30% of teachers leave the education field within the first 5 years. I kind of thought that was a lot. Most teachers will only earn 60% of what average college graduates will make. So to me, that kind of tells you that if you're here and this is what you want to do, you're not in it for the money. You're in it to better students, and you're really developing the future of this country and our leaders. And professional development programs and continued teacher learning boosted student achievement by about 21 percentile points. So not only are you making yourself better, but you're going to improve your students' learning.
Hold up.
I forgot the standard. Gotta put that on there.
You mean in your speech? Or you can stop the camera.